Yes. Sure.
Yes, this is going to be a long one. Good night of Shabbos, everybody. Next week, I really don't know what the schedule is. So I've got to be in deal for Thursday 7, and I got to be there Friday. So I don't know what the cheshbon is, but I'll let you know. They'll let you know the regular way. The Chukas-Balak. So Chukas is like this. But Rashi brings down by the Indian of the whole Indian of Chukid. It says is that the Sotna and the Umis what used to mind in this Sotna is they made fun of the clause. So they used to like what kind of is it? What's this kind of a law is this? What kind of a ditch is this? And so on. And it always bothered me, like, this is the whole world acts this way. I don't know what the problem was. And if you ask me the symbolizations, therefore Rashi brings down a lot of it, and stuff from what exactly they are. Basically, really the timing, obviously not. It's only the time, so it's not shy for us to know the time. But but there is some kind of a concept of a tam that they're understanding. So they want to make fun of us. I don't know if they make fun of us because of that. The shaila is over here. So why would they make? And I said the world does this. What they do? Let's say you have a fight, husband and wife. So what does the husband do? He apologizes. He brings the wife flowers. And he brings the probably long stem roses. You can't push it, the stuff you buy in Costco or someplace. Got to be real good stuff that costs a couple of $100. And you bring it, and the wife is very happy to see it. And she's, what do you call it? And then the first problem they got before you got anything else is where do you put them? Now, you can't put them in a regular vase, they'll put the vase. So it's got to be a vase that's going to be very tall, or something like that. And obviously that they don't have such a vase, right? The long stem roses are a good foot. And the thing is, so you don't have them. So what they do with it? So they finally find a garbage pail. That's probably tall enough they could put it in there. And where are they going to put it? Let's put it on the dining room table. But nobody eats in the dining room. It's in the middle of the week. We only eat in the kitchen. So no one's going to see it. And the wife will see it. She'll go in the kitchen and goes in the dining room every so much time, and she'll see whether they're okay. Anytime she goes in 2-3 times a day, my husband loves me, wonderful. It's everything's happy, right? Come Shabbos, finally, everybody's going to see my beautiful flowers, and they put the thing on the table. And then one guy says, I can't see anybody. Will you please take the flowers off the table? And all of a sudden, you don't see the tables anymore. And they're flowers. Next day, they start to smell terrible, and you have to throw them out. So what did you waste $200 for? I mean, you understand the thing. Wouldn't it be better to have bought something with some kind of tzatzkara that they can use in the kitchen even, that's usable, that normally when you buy it, but now that they want to make up anyway, so you buy something that they think is so. So sure, they'll have a little bit more of a key in than the flowers. So why don't you do it? And yet the Welt does this. I would think that the reason that they do that is because it shows how to show Ahava. You waste money? Yeah. You love me so much, you're willing to waste money for me to make me happy. And that's okay, that's what it takes. Okay, so then that's what God says. You love me. I want $1 million cow. Maybe I made a paradoma once in a while for so many years. And then what do you call it? Right? So that's what makes me happy. And where will we see such a mitzvah bisman as that? I would say it would be the little Vanessa. Once upon a time, you bought a set. Because $50 a set. That was kind of a nice set years ago. Now the esrog itself costs you a couple $100, and then you got to buy a dairy lulav, which obviously you're not going to push it to dairy. I got to buy the dairy, and then the Chazanish's Hadassim, which is Mishawasher. I'm not going to get the wife on me. I mean, working on the business. So it costs you basically about $400 for basically an esrog. What you had there. So why you spending that kind of money? God, I want to show you I love you. Okay. So the mitzvahs of chukim are very important because they show the Rebbeinu Shalom that we love it. Now we tell you we don't. It doesn't. That doesn't. It's not important why he wants the mitzvah, but that's what he wants. And the funny part is, the Torah even calls it our chokhmah, and that's something that's just okay. Like what kind of chokhmah? These are mitzvahs we don't even have a reason for it. You say it's a pasuk. What's the Russian? It's in Neshchana. ושמרתם ועשיתם כי חוכמתכם ובינתכם לעיני העמים אשר ישמעו את כל החוקים האלה ואומרו רק עם חוכם ונבון הגוי הגדול הזה. What do you? Doesn't make sense. Mishpotim, we understand. And what is it about Mishpotim? Mishpotim Bal Yidom. They don't even know what they're talking about, what they want to do Mishpotim. But what impresses the world? Chukim. And you're telling me Chukim is something that we don't understand. It don't make sense. So the Rosh Hashanah is, he gives a title over here. He gives it a medical motion. I think the motion is a simple one, really. We'll use it, not terminology. Let's say a guy has headaches and he always takes 2 aspirin and camel health to meet. And finally he gives up and he calls the doctor and he says, Doc, I've been taking aspirin all the time. I keep having these terrible headaches. I can't get rid of them. So he says, why don't you try 3? Tries 3 and all of a sudden, headaches go away. I'm going on. No. Don't say going home. I should have thought of it myself. I should have figured if 2 doesn't do it, maybe try a 3rd one. Wanting to do it, wanting to think about it. All of us, you were scared or whatever reason, and you didn't do it. They stayed on the back of like 2 every 4 hours. So I was doing that. And it didn't help me. But what happened if the doctor would tell you, if you stand on your head and you blow out 4 times, that will stop the headaches. Wow, what a genius. Knows how the body works, that somehow we're standing upside down with the thing there. That's going to make any sense what he said? Absolutely not. What we're saying is that it works. So therefore he's a genius. So a chayt which has no reason, and it makes us smart, and with this, so it must be that we don't understand how it works, but that's what makes us smart. The things we don't understand. That's the thing. So therefore, chukim, you have in Korea, they still learning, I think, Talmud. They think that's what makes Jews smart, so they're going to learn it. So I don't know what they do, and I have no idea, but I think they still do it. Anyway, goes weiter to the Indian of the. Okay, maybe this I can give you a thing of understanding. The Torah Dume, we get a little bit as a Sfasemis on the Gemara Kiddushin that tells you the story. Not Heichen Kibbur Avraham. So it says Ma'aseh Dam ben Nesina, who was a guy in Ashkelon. Right? Who, what he called? They were going to buy, they lost one of the stones for the choshen, and he was going to do it. And he gives a choshen there that's 400-something thousand, what do you call it? The profit? Not the price, the profit. And the thing there. So, and his father was sleeping with his feet on the box where the keys were. And he didn't want to wake his father up, and he was going to take the loss. Okay? And because of that, the next year, Paraduma was born by him in the house. So he says he knows, he says to Chloe, so I know I can charge you Kol Haim the Alma. That means everything, all the money in the world, I can charge you for it. Bill, all I want is because I understand the Bishop did it to give me the schar for if I didn't wake up my father that time. So therefore, just give me the profit that I lost because I didn't sell you the stone. Somebody else sold you the stone. Which is a big pillar with that big rush is, but you see how much when it comes to Jesus to find the stone, and you got it, but you can't wake up. You got to wait another half hour till the father wakes up. We go find another stone. If you can find one, I don't mean, obviously you found one. You know, the size of the stone is pretty big. Okay, so they got the stone, so they buy the paradum. When did they have to buy this paradum? They have to buy the paraduma that same day because the guy's going to put a weight on it, right? Or if you never put an oil on it. Put an oil on it, you pass the paraduma. How can I trust the already that the Megnachi didn't put an oil on it? And he's not Neman. So what's going to help me? So therefore, as soon as we heard the paraduma born, buy it. When does it become a kosher paraduma? When it's a porah, when it's an eglah. So that's, you got to wait a couple of years, a year at least, or 3 years. So you wait there. Now, what's the odds of the color remaining the same? How many blonde kids do you know they're not blonde anymore? When they were born, they were all blonde, and now we're all in the dark hair. Right? So obviously, hair changes. The thing would have changed. So hair also would have changed. So how do you know what the pshat is? So that is what Beniman is in Sipsasana says that his kasha was the Gemara has to find a guy to give you a raya of what cover of Kibbur of the English. There was no Jew that was Machabed his father, but you can say, oh, like a Yid did it. So he says, no, what the Gemara is trying to show you the shivas of a Yid. The pshat is that the Beniman said to them, I'm a god, and I can understand the mitzvah that I understand, and I will pay a lot of money for mitzvah I understand. And that is Kibbur Avim. But for mitzvah that I don't understand, the paradum I couldn't understand why you pay for it. Therefore they pay. Okay, but I'm saying but that again, that's the kasha, it's the mitzvah. What do we need to kasha? The kasha is I have to invest on the suffix, the mitzvah. I'm going to first buy it now, and 3 years later, I'm just going to use it. So then how do you know it's going to be good? But that's the problem. So that did we do it. And that we're willing to do for the Rebbeinu. That's the case of it. But obviously, we have some Kabbalah. If the Rebbeinu gives a paradum in the world, we're going to need it. See, last week, what happened with this paradum a couple of years ago. Right? And then saying, obviously, they're not paradumas. That's obviously we call it. I don't know what it was or not, but I think my brother went to see the one in Lakewood, and I wasn't impressed with it. Okay. All right. Anyway, it says over there, and again, the mess of home nefesh. I touched the mess. The Tommy Shivas Yom. And then who Yisrato B'Beim Ashlishi B'Beim Ashvi, and then it's Yitov, become Torah. If you're not, then no Yisrato, and Timothy doesn't become Torah. And anybody that touches a mess, and if he does, and he doesn't do on purpose, he's Chayv Koros. Chayv Koros, but he do not. So Rashi says, you talk about if you want to gay and you cut him or something like that, so then you Chayv Koros. But it doesn't say that in the Torah. They said the stomach just didn't do it. So why didn't you do it? The tiny is I want to tiny, maybe just to point it to teach us a lesson. In other words, what do we have? What do we like us? Our brain, whatever it is, our nefesh, our heart, whatever it is. So the thing is that if it becomes tummy, you must to mentire. If you're not mentire, that's chiv misa for itself. It's not pshat that I have to coach in my head. if you don't use your cup and keches for Avodas Hashem, then that difference because you're in yourself and you don't know what it is to straighten out. That's why I think it doesn't put a touching anything. But that means you became tummy, so you got to get Torah. That's it. Anyway, it says the next story right after the Koradon is Mrs. Miriam. And the Gaussian why they put Mrs. Miriam next to Maisa Koradon, to show you that Mrs. Sadikim are Mechaper. The truth is, the Koradon is not Mechaper. So what do you mean? It's a Hechshatum, a Hechshakayim. It's not a Chattas technically, because we're doing the way of a Chattas, Yeager, or this and that, but it's not really Machaber. It has to do with Tumah Taira. So what's it got to do with this Hekish, with this Smichas? So I want to tell you that if we don't realize the loss that we have, it's not Machaber. The only reason that it's Machaber, it's a Hechsher of Taira. I sprinkled it on myself in order that I can go to mikveh and I can come Torah. If I don't realize that that's what I'm doing, and I'm making it as a Hechsher, and the thing there, then unfortunately I'm not going to become Torah. And then again, so therefore the person, have a gadol dies, he has to realize it's a show to the world is a loss. And we have a loss, now we can be mechaper for you. If you don't say, hey, he was an old man anyway, what difference does it make, So another old man is gone, so that's your attitude. It's not mechaper. Everything that. Okay. Now, we happen to be that Miriam was the bear of Miriam. So the bear stopped. She's dead. No more bear. No tree kick. Nothing. Everybody's missing water. And here, Mashma, we don't find the bench that has any times. The Medrash is Loshin, if I remember, it's in a thing that person in Shiva. He just finished burying Miriam. And they sit in Shiva, no water. So everybody comes screaming, we need water, right? So the Rebbeinu Shem says to them, get up and give my children water, because you don't go get involved in your own avedas. It has nothing to do with it, then go give my children water. My children, they're asking for water. They say they were trying to business. Now, before they asked, when they asked the first time. The reason why, because they told you how they wanted the answer. They wanted the answer, we want water. They should have said we're thirsty. And what it called is, so I can solve your problem, it won't make you thirsty. You won't dehydrate and you won't get thirsty. You don't have to get water because of that. Right? But you ask for water. So I should have learned from this a very important insight that got Parshas usually. It probably works in different things also. That a guy, probably medicine would be the same thing. I can't get an appointment with a certain doctor. I'm trying to get an interview for a job, right? And he keeps saying, I got to get to this doctor. He's the man. I got to get to this interview because that's the job I need, right? And we forget that we need a job and we need a food. But we're asking for this job and this food for you. That's also. And you ask for water, that means you want to be saved this way to see if I can do it. That you can't do. That's called testing for Rebbeinu Shalom. Tell me you need Parnasa, I'll give you Parnasa. And so they're supposed to really be Mispalo. I'd like to get by Parnasa, what he called, I need Parnasa. I'm going into Rebbeinu Shalom. Please make me do well because I don't want to look like a fool. That's all, but it has nothing to do with getting a job. Nothing to give me a job, whatever you give me. For you, I guess really is, no big deal. As long as you're a mumche, then every remember is the Rebbeinu Shalom, not the doctor. So as long as you've been a mumche, That's good enough.
If not that the Knanim dressed, if not that the Knanim dressed up, they would have done specific to be saved from Knanim.
They didn't know who what the fellow for. They wouldn't know him directly.
They would have him directly.
They said these guys are bothering us. In other words, please kill the Knanim that are bothering us. Now the pell is what really is this whole thing. The spell for the spell or the enemy. I mean, I guess maybe you mentioned the enemy. So are they really that much big meaning that they had to make such a threshold? They were kosher, we say, Amalek, right? So what they do, they dressed up because suddenly you're going to pray to God, you wouldn't know how to pray, right? So who am I praying? So who's going to kill me? If God's going to kill me. So I do believe in God. So what's your problem? I don't know, somehow that always bothered me. I don't know to go shut on that. Okay. Then they basically came out 4 Avelas they did here. What do you mean 4 Avelas? The only year was hit the rock. And it doesn't make any sense either. I mean, Moshe Rabbeinu is not a magician, he's an Navi.
Recording in progress.
What did that? I'm sorry?
I said it's back on.
So why did he hit it? I think is this, that Moshe Rabbeinu kept talking to rocks. And obviously, the Benishim hit it. So he knew that's the solace here. He ain't getting out of this with any regressive licking, that's for sure. The Benishim, when did you ever hear that the Benishim gives a job to a Navi and then makes it difficult for him to do the job? Because I'll give you the job to do someone done, right? So I'll give you the chaos to do it. And the Benishim made it known. So now he sees his Chil Hashem. They come and go on to him. Now they ask him what's the difference one cell or the other cell or whatever, or it's a statement of fact, I'm going to bring you the water. I mean, what is it? It's a Chil Hashem. You said you're going to give us water, and you're not giving us. Moshe Rabbeinu, when he said something, it happened 1, 2, 3. It didn't happen this or that. So he went and he was misfouled. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, please, I'm going to hit the rock now and let water come out. So it's exactly what happened. Except the Benishim made him hit it twice. The first time only a little bit of water came out, and the second one he hit a little whack, more water came out. And they tried to show you, I didn't approve of your tefillah. You should have asked the next rock I speak to, water should have been out. But why didn't you ask that? Okay, that's a good point. I was thinking that this is the chet of Lehemantim, that you didn't trust me. Now, it's Moshe Rabbeinu who's dealing with Klal Yisrael on a daily level, on a daily basis. And there's always trouble. They're always complaining. They're always doing something wrong, right? So, maybe he sees that, Reuven Shalom, 40 years ago, you told me to hit the stone. I hit the stone. Right? Now you think that 40 years later, now you can talk to this. And I think that's the Moshe we wanted to bring, the Kiddush Hashem that would have come out of it. That even a rock, that's inanimate. If you hit it once, the next time you can talk to it, you get it. So you guys who are big people, you should be able to say, I don't have to hit you again. Right? And they didn't learn that lesson. And therefore, we needed Purim to come along to learn that lesson. That we got real scared of them, and then they'll do a thing. But the idea is that was the lesson I wanted to teach them, and you didn't make that lesson come across. You hit it. Why did you hit it? Because you felt that it was still the lower level. They needed a good shot in the head. So therefore, you said to them, you hit the rock again. So by your man, you didn't need to. You didn't believe me that reached the Madrege, that in the Madrege you could have spoken to them. They don't look like it, but they're not Madrege. You can speak to them. And you didn't believe it. And Marisa is simply that she did what I asked you. What he called the mountain, like he dashed them. You want to Kaddish me in the sense of or by Kedusha you have, if you would have done it, you would have been made a Kiddush Hashem. You didn't do it, so there's no Kiddush Hashem. It's really two positive and two opposites of it. And what's the other? And the out and be made as if I can't do it. So it's in other words the same thing there. So therefore, all these four, even though it's one mice I did, the one mice laid four things, and for that there's four averos. And in different places, it fits a different chet of the specific waters that are done on purpose or not, that I don't know. I haven't figured that out. But there's, when somebody by Aaron, it says for your man to be. And by Moshe, I think it says for Melissa in Azino. And then the other one is when told the first way, right now, like the man can be like the shame. Two things it says over here. Okay. And for this, you're not coming to the Eretz Yisrael. He said that Emerson really is not coming to Eretz Yisrael because of Malabi. That's what it said in Parshas Reuven. That Gambi, son of Hashem, what he saw that you also not coming. Yeshua is going to take him to Eretz Yisrael. So on the Malabi is why he didn't come. But the mice said there had to be a physical chet that I did. I didn't do anything wrong over here. I made a misjudgment. Okay, I made a misjudgment. I let them make a thing. It became an error because of there's no chet. Aahron at least made a chet, you can tell me. What was his chet? He made the ego. He actually made the ego. So the thing is, he made anything with the ego, I mean, he made it. So therefore, my chet he did. I didn't do anything. I just told him to go send people to check the land. So I gave them an idea by checking the land. They can go, it's up to them. They want to go. So that was my mistake. Okay. And okay. I said, oh, let's see, it's funny. Okay. Now, normally a regular person, you get this message. You go to a doctor and it tells you, you have 2 months to live. Going to panic. I can't operate anymore. Can't do anything. I got to deal with and I got to send them my law firm, and I got a job to lead the nation. I don't have any time to go worry about dying. And I think that I'm going to die, so that's it. And the truth is, that's the way you're always supposed to be. It's you assuming they're right. First of all, who says they're right? Assuming they're right. The doctor is there. So what are you going to go into a panic? And you will say, oy vey, for 2 months, and you're dead. So you wasted 2 months. In other words, saying, the Benshon gave me 2 months of life. 2 months, I got to do something with the 2 months. I can do this. My brother-in-law went around and he knew it was the end. He was in the hospital there. He went around being without the chayla. The other chaloim. Meanwhile, you're still alive. So you got to do a job. You got to do better work. You got to do everything Hashem. Okay, so that's the thing. That's what Moshe Rabbeinu did. Moshe Malachim, Melech Eden, what he did. Okay. And he really is giving him a lot of muscle to Eden. After that is a question with us. Things that we suffered. Why? Because you should have been with us there. You're also a grandson of Avram Avinu, and the Zega 400 years is next on you too. And the only thing is you ran away, and you ran away to Seforim and left over whatever chivi now to solve for us. Okay, but you know that because of that we had to suffer the 400 years. We didn't. So you know what all the souls we had because of this. Okay, so we wanted then eventually what do you call it? Well, it's interesting that because of this, I think the Medrash and the Ma'aser with who was it? He was walking on the river and he saw the Roman that was shipwrecked. And he's laying naked and he asked him for food. food and clothes. So they everybody was making fun of him. They're making fun of him. And he said, Achicha, I'm from Mesa Achicha. He got it from the Parshas from here, Mesa Achicha. You're supposed to have Rachmanis on me. And when he came along and he gave him, so he gave him back, and then he became the emperor, and we made Xera to wipe out the whole place over there, so they sent him, and they didn't know him. And he came there, and he told him, he came for that, he goes, what'd you come for? He bowed down to him. The emperor saw him and he bowed down to him, and not to take to him, he saved my life. And he didn't recognize him, I guess, in the beginning, but he recognized him. So he told him that please have Rachmanis on the and then he gives him a bribe because supposed to Rome doesn't do anything without a bribe. So he got the bribe, so that he gives him back for the 200 suits he gave him. It was 4,000 or something instead, and he gave him back 70 suits. And what he called for the things for the chesed, the guy was moichel them also because of him. There's a geshlach lachmach. It's on the pasuk. Anyway, that didn't let him go, so they went around. They came to her, and all of a sudden, it's time for Aaron to go. Okay, that's all very short period of time. I don't know exactly when the outside was, but Aaron was quite a short. So they everybody went up there and they came down. They wouldn't believe it. They came down out and the lozers wearing the clothes, so they knew it's open. Okay. And the Chiddush is a Yishbus Aron Sheshim Kol Beis Yisrael, which it doesn't say by Moshe Rabbeinu. It's called Bnei Yisrael by Moshe Rabbeinu, because by then they were missing the Torah that Moshe gave them. The women were, okay, Moshe is dead. We have another one king is dead, one group of king. We have another one. Doesn't make a difference to us who it is. About by Aaron, it made a difference even to the woman who it is, because the Oyev Shalom, the right of Shalom is not here anymore. The guy that undertook impossible cases to make Shalom, I mean, that's the thing that it's not an impossibility to understand. Hopefully 80,000 kids marched that were named Aaron. Of course, he made Shalom Bayis, and the kid that brought after that, they all named the kid out. 80,000. Assuming he started, even when he went into the midbar, I don't know when he started, but even if he started from the day he was born, I don't know he started to make Shalom, but how many did he do a day? According to this, if you did 80,000 in 40 years, I think it came out to 5 a day, 3 a day. I don't remember how much I can tell you, Shalom Bayis doesn't take 1 day, doesn't take 1 hour.
It was a society? Huh? They named him after while he was alive?
Yeah, they must have been Slavic. That's how I used to my aid. Name after only dead people. He looked at me like, so said, no, there's people I call Junior too. I understand. If I ask for name after you're dead, It was bothering you. I had so many things, the same name. Like, why they don't have the same name for? Okay, so that was, so I guess what's bad is that, and this I've had, it's possible sometimes you say something and it has an effect for the guy saying, if I would have done that, if I would have heard this speech 30 years ago, I wouldn't have had any results. I would have had Shalom Bayis my whole life. So that's what it means. I don't think it means necessarily that he actually sat with them But I don't know. They can't have. Maybe like they wrote such a Taylor's fast. He picked up all the Levium. Maybe it's in there so he could write there. He made some rice also. I don't know. 1, 2, 3. Some rice. But the Ike was he did impossible cases. That's the thing. And I said the actual Russian I haven't figured out yet. The Russian of himself is Ktanis, and the case is actually brought down. But that's the Russian. It says over there that he would go to one, and he saw 2 people fighting. He would go over to one and says, the guy wants to ask him a chibur, right? And he wants to meet the business. But then goes to the other guy and he says the same thing. And they both come. I said, what's going to happen? They both come to the same place, and each one's waiting for the other guy to start talking. Because each of them thinks the other guy true, right? And they were all waiting. And the guy says, don't you have something to say to me? And the guy says, don't you have something to say to me? He said, what should I have something to say to you? They're back to the fight again. So how did he solve the problem? That's that. I have a derech that he could have solved it, but that's not what it says. He could have solved it by walking over to the guy. He sees the guy, he heard the guy had a fight, and he sees the guy sad about it. So he goes over to the guy and he says, why are you so sad? He said, well, I just had a fight with my best friend. And, I think, and I'm sorry, you had this fight. The truth is, what he did to me, it's a terrible thing. And you didn't do anything to him. Oh, of course, I did this thing and this thing. And you were happy about that? Oh, I could tell. Like that. If you ever ask before you ask for it, right? Okay. Yeah. So he says, okay. So he goes over to the guy, the other guy, and he says, I heard you had a fight with your friend. And then he's saying the same thing. He says, I did this, I heard you did this to you, yeah, but you know what I did to him? And I'm so sorry. Are you sorry about it? So now also both of you want to ask Mechila. You run to each other, as soon as you see each other, you say, please be Muslim. That will work. But the other way, I'm waiting for you to be Muslim to me, it ain't going to work. Okay. And now they got all of a sudden, as if the Terali Melech heard the basic voice of the Anani HaKabah because of Aaron, so now they were able to be seen. So therefore, they were able to attack. But anyway, they Yismei Har, and they all of a sudden, like Kiksa never shown by Derech. They didn't get tired of the road. They had no problem with walking. It says, when there's a certain thing it's a strange thing, when we're hungry, we space our food in a certain way that we eat 3 times a day, that by doing that, we're never hungry. I think we'll get to maybe another hour, I'm getting hungry, nothing like that. But somehow you're not panicked, you're not worried about, when we get for food, we'll go downstairs and we'll get food. And Kippur, and you start getting hungry, then you start getting worried. I don't want to have any trouble. They should be like the types. Okay. So we understand the difference in hunger between a regular hunger and that, but we eat that way. On the other hand, when you walk, you don't sit down until you're tired. You don't walk 2 blocks and sit down. Walk another 2 blocks and sit down. When you get tired, you sit down. If you never get tired, you never sit down. So you just keep going. When you buy a new suit, and this way wears out. Don't wear out, so then it doesn't make. They don't need a new suit. And therefore, it's not something that you plan. Yeah. So obviously it's not that we're tired for the trip. I mean, it's the same thing though. In 40 years, I'm not more tired than before. They're tired. But the issue, we saw the goal was in sight. And when we went to Eden, and now if we would go through Eden, we're there. Eden's not let us. And all of a sudden, we got to go around and stuff like that. It's just no chadri. This is really what happened to the start with. What happened to start with? They should have gone out by that of Mitzrayim. He got Kabbal's at Teb and gone to Eretz Yisrael and take Eretz Yisrael. 11 days. So it should have been there. 11 days later, we should have been in Eretz Yisrael. Instead of that, we did the ego. So the ego now made it that we had to wait another 80 days for Moshe and then the second Luchas. After the second Luchas, we wanted the Mishkan to vanish. So we had to wait another half a year on to get the Mishkan. And we already made all the things for the traveling and everything else. Then it's right away the Meraglim. And then, before Meraglim, before Meraglim. It says, Tavera and Kivas Ataiva. And then in Chatzeres, which we have to wait to Miriam 7 days, another 7 days. In that time, all of a sudden, you have, what do you call it? So it was told again. It was the next one. It was Meraglim. It was Meraglim, right? It was Meraglim happened. So it's another 40 days. And then I was there for 40 years. Then we got Kerach. Every time. So once you delay goes another delay, until you get something. The kind is, you're not supposed to delay. You're supposed to get on the same day. You just told Genocha delay. That's the thing. Nothing go away. We can't take it. So we started to talk about it. Now they came along, the Mention made the Nechoshim. And they set Nechoshim on them. A lot of people. And they chew it. And they say, God, give rid of the Nechoshim. So he tells Moshe Rabbeinu, make a Nechash of Nechoshes. And what do you call it? And when anyone looks at Nechash of Nechoshes, he'll be cured. Right? We know Cheskio buried it or broke it, whatever it is there, because it shouldn't be an every result. I don't understand. We have a Mishnah that says, nice remains, Elohos, when you look at God, then, so no, it's not looking at the Nechosh, it's looking at God. I don't understand that. So how would you make it under the zone? All the Ma'aminim in the Nechosh all died. All the guys that said the Nechosh is worthless, they lived. So you're going to make that into a radio zone? Yeah, but they don't know. I figure 50% of the people that lived. Or 30%. It's good. Okay, says he did that. Okay, and you see that they made the Yosher on the Be'er. It was after the Smeiser. And on the thing over there, so you see that the Shiva always learned in the shyness, when it says over there, the Torah Yachash, he hit the stone, and what do you call it? It's like you say it as a shvach. So he says that the pshat goes on top of the second time, but the Avera of Moshe Rabbeinu is for us a schus. In other words, we don't understand it maybe, like what's wrong with what he did. For that itself, that there could be such people in Klal Yisrael, that the Rebbeinu Shem is done to put aside, and the Rebbeinu Shem is really not done anyway to put aside. If you want to be technical, except maybe in this particular case, or maybe even by no devavi, or you're trying to say what it means by put aside. Because the Chayren, you're not allowed to touch a king. That thing. As soon as the guards would see you trying to touch him, they'll kill you. Now it's because they're not free to think, saying, I only want to give him a pat on the back, great guy, great job, king, stuff like that. We don't take any of the chances. We kill the guy right away. But let's say you go to a place where they're not market, they don't know that. So they want to show appreciation to the king. They'll give him a big pat on the back and say, great job, king, you're doing a wonderful job. And the thing there, and the king will smile at them and say, some couple of the accolades, because to him, this is a shvach. They're giving him, they're praising him in the thing there. except they don't know how to do it. So therefore, they're giving it with a bang in the back. But if they would know the normal thing, for a guy who knows that you don't do that to a king, he's supposed to say what he thought. So then if you touch the king, you're chayim misa. So to the guy that's a tzaddik, he knows that Tichut HaSayra is you did the worst thing in the world. What do you mean Tichut HaSayra? He knew the difference. He know the difference. And you're chayim misa. What's the difference? He don't understand. That's why to him it looks like a guy they call his hair splitters. It's not really hair splitting. We go on chayim. It's like kotzer. It's right over here. The kotzer. They have to meet somewhere. The kotzer, right? The east, the west, they do meet somewhere. So where they meet, that's thing. But it's still east and west. So the thing goes from there, but they can't see it. They don't understand it. So therefore, the same thing is. But there is chochem. The Talmud Chochem, we understand. So what's the kasha? There's no chut hasayir, but there is a chut hasayir where I'm giving you a chance to understand something, and because why you did it, or I fooled you into it, or like Moshe Rabbeinu was saying, the fact that it didn't work, and if he gets a tumult and all that, and he's a novel at the same time, and he's just, not a time, a proper time of thinking, and he has to think there so clearly. So then, and you still got him like he's so like he's something against you, and then that's a chut hasayir already. That's already good. Another idea could also be, the time that they because you do have steers, you have times that we have to do a shtei gizriyates, and you have to put on the fire every day, and so you have to do fire, you have to set floor. So it's not like, so when is it your own, when is it someone else's, whatever it is. So the toys, well, toys, you don't make a toys certain cases. Okay, so that's why it's a shvach. Like you have such people, but the Beinishim is done and Tichut HaSayra, so therefore they can become so great. So therefore, very good. Then they came to Sichain, and Sichain already is not so nice. So Sichain tells them we're going through.
That's why they said b'mishanoisam.
Huh?
That's why they said b'mishanoisam.
Could be. What does it say over there? It says first of all, she said she had raised Chafur, Seforim, Kavur, Beyom, Achayki, Mishanoisam.
Why did they put it in there?
Huh?
Why did they put the mishanoisam in?
I thought it's a good question. Okay. Yeah. But you thought some malach masich melchem that Yeri didn't say, let us please go by. He told the Edbel Atzecha, we're going through, and and he didn't get it. He didn't let them, so he just wipes them out. That's all. 1, 2, 3, finished. The big nisim that happened there. And he took over the whole country. Okay. And brings all these, I don't know what shot in Muhammad Hashem and stuff, that they have other battles also. Like in other words, in the Sefer Muhammad Hashem, and I was Greek. We'll learn the history about Sparta and Athens. Was that an important battle or not? This is ideas of the Beinishim, it's Muhammad Hashem, when they're talking about wars of people. It's not negated for the. It's not negated for the Yerush Sahara. That it's clear. Well, this is started because otherwise we couldn't have gone into the land. We don't know about it. So it's only because it's hit the Sichain, and we got it. And then now he came out and he killed Reuven. Okay. And Reuven really was part of Eretz Yisrael originally. Only Sichain was not. Reuven was part of Eretz Yisrael. And that's, and again, in the Bavon that it tells you this land is called Eretz Seforim. Because in the Brisbane Absoren, he gives it 10 lands, and there's 6 of the Kanani. Hili is not there. Hili is the Kenny, but that's from Esav. And you do have over there, and you have also Seforim, Mr. Sevens. So therefore, the Seforim is the part, but that Seforim took up 3 lands, and part of the soil was El Seforim. Okay. Now, Balak saw what's happening, and he's the Melech Moab. There's again many Midrashim here, whatever it is there. He's really a Midyani, he's not a Moab. So if he's a Midyani, so then the engine didn't have to save Moab. Don't have to say Moab, even Moab is because he wanted to risk the Nama, right? This is not a Moabist. She's not a Moabist. She's a Midyanist. So what's she cash altogether? So I'm saying that's I'm saying all these Midrashim, I guess, they were trying to teach us something, but what the real truth is, I have no idea. Okay, so I can't see. But that's the idea that it's to say it's not true, obviously, you can't say that. But to know what is true, that is good because it doesn't have to be true. Okay, so what happened? He says, so Rashi touches up the word Vayokot at the same Russian that's used by Rivkin and Yitzchok because the Chayehem through the Benos Ches. In other words, Esau's wives. So it means that you're making my life miserable, right? So are you going to say we can't defend ourselves? I mean, the Rio Hakos HaToiv, supposedly, whatever that means. We can't do anything. The Rio Hakos HaToiv, we can't defend ourselves. You have to lay down and run like that, drop dead in front of you if you just because you did me a favor once, or your grandfather did my grandfather a favor. What's he going to do with me and you? Right? So I think the shot is he's allowed to. And Taki, when he went to Bilam, he asked for the right thing. He says, I'm asking you, curse them so I can beat them up one time and they'll leave and I'll stay away from it. But what is Bilam fell over to the Danish? They sent me guys, this is Moab sent me guys to the Gerashti, Oilam, that is one genocide. And that's I'm not satisfied. Me, Bilam is not satisfied to work for them to get away from the thing. I work a little word and mouth, and you guys are masking. That's the time on them. So really, it's not a big time. I say the thing there. The story with the Bnei Slates at the Rosh Hashiva. That the chat is that what was the time that the Bnei Slate that they did with Shem Shemayim? What was the meaning of that? Their purpose of naming their children after the father, they said, he could have named our children Yankee, Bechel, wouldn't have known the difference. How come you're pregnant? How come you have a baby? There's a man there. You got married to someone, or was in a war with widows. You don't know what happened to us, right? The whole country's wiped out. So we escaped. We were pregnant at that time. We didn't have to invest ourselves by calling Moab, right? So why do we do that? Because we wanted to put the lie to the Immaculate Conception. In other words, if there's no such thing as God made a person pregnant, what I mean. You can have I can have a tzaddik, which is like this, a tzaddik, you say, we, the Torah says, we are daughters of Stein, and we never lived with a man. In other words, if we're living in such a place like Stein, what are you talking about? This should be normal stuff. And it's not even what he called it, but we didn't. So therefore, we're also Ziktonists. And they tell me a fact that there's a man and a woman in a place, and no one else there. Child is from the man. I don't care how big a tzaddik he is. I don't care his father. I don't care what is there and stuff like that. So therefore, there's no such thing as the Immaculate Conception. And for that, Mashiach belongs to them. That was the whole idea, was that the guy got sick and he was wondering why does Mashiach belong to his tramps. That was the answer that he gave, that the girl and the dream that the slave came to him and told him about. Okay. So according to that, then the mother of Moav was bigger tzidkanius than the mother of Ammon. She was with Hazasach a lot more. She called it Me'ov. Pretty clear. Me'ov. Don't call me Ammon around somebody. Ammon. So what's pshat? I want to kind of keep it. It says in Kisei what do you need two reasons for? Right? Is one enough or not? And you don't find that Ammon did two reasons. He only did it. And besides, it says Neferish Moav did give food. Where does it say that? Again, in Parshas Dvarim, it says over here, when they sent to Sichon the writer, he says to him, "Eichel ba'kesef tashbereni, kasher also libnei Yisrael hayeshim l'seir, v'hamoyevim hayeshim lo." They sold me food. So remember, they did food. So what do you mean, Toshel Kid Muslim? We worked on this one. Why were you Kid Muslim? Because you were robbing from me anyway. So therefore, we decided to sell it to you. We did sell it to you. And you say you did it to you, but you didn't smile when you sold it to me. Who said the other guy smiled when you sold it to me? You know, they think that they love me. So that's it. So you gotta understand. I don't know the whole Haram. Is even Baba Musa say this, or the Lord who don't know, that I don't know what Jews. And what do you mean by saying that? Of course, I did him a favor, and that's why he hates me. Right? So you tell me he doesn't have a cause that day. So a Jew don't have a cause that day. What do you want from him? You want from God? So I said, I don't even know who can say such a thing. I mean, really, it hits me. The thing, how do you say such a thing? I'm a Jew. Whatever of us, we know human nature. I don't like to owe anybody anything. So therefore, if I really owe something, I'm going to figure out something just why I don't owe. And therefore, that's why it is. So you don't have a cause that day. So what's the time against the God? But they got caught at it. That's the difference. Now it's the only reason you guys are around because of Avinu. So you should be market tape to us for this reason that you shouldn't have killed us, wanted to do genocide. But for two different people. Amen. And you got a thing. You're not allowed to touch him at all. Not allowed. Moav called itself Moav. You somehow in the sounds of it, in the covenant of your father. So because of that, we seek about Muhammad, but we can make waiting parties on you. We can rob you. We can't kill you, but we can rob you. So it's a funny thing. So because of that, you sold me the stuff. I tried to save you. That's what the evangelist was saying. You named this the kid Moav. So you're right, it was a bizoyin. But at the same token, you were willing to invest yourself because of me. And he did something that was not respectful and so on. So therefore, I made that by Siga Babachomer that they should check you, and because of that, you'll sell them. And really, they wouldn't have killed you. They would have killed only Ammon. They would have checked would have checked them. But you, they would have left alone. The only tzova is you see, so you were so chalem to remember. You would not remember. You wouldn't die. That's all what it died. And maybe you would have been the club and party so too. Anyway, the shadow is how this Bill and Rashi brings down that was when Ben Shemesh said, who are these people, right? And we really find a similar question by Yogi Marisha, like, where are you? Where are you? To say we can make a mistake Well, they don't make no mistakes. Doesn't say Benishim kid doesn't know where I am. What do you mean? He knows who the Benishim is. I'm his creation. I'm the best thing. I'm the closest thing to God possible. So what do you think about Bilam? He's a novel. He can't make such a mistake. He knows the Benishim knows where he is. So what's the Tayyis? Is like this, I think. That they know that the Benishim makes Bechir. That means that he buds out, make a decision making or whatever it is there when it comes to Chet. So he could know if he wants to, but he's able to make himself not know whatever it is there when it comes to Chet. So the Shai, where's the Chet start? The Chet started when these people came to me and I was thinking about how I'm going to kill the Jews and all that stuff. You're already dreaming about it, but meanwhile, we didn't get a chance to do it yet. So I'm giving you, so like we're in the Chet already. So I'm out of the picture. So who are these people here? And therefore, certain thing by Rabbi Marisha. Rabbi Marisha to the Tzadas. He doesn't want to anything. So the Chet was taking place already. So therefore, maybe that's Chet. That's why they don't understand how we don't want to mean. They don't know what it means. How can they even fool themselves? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, Noah goes through the different things, and there's some people actually don't say my table because my table is a kloa, not a bracha. That I'll give them. The rest of it says, Moses says in two places, my table was that it was from the Grashon. So he says that the one he says is that they what sneers they are my table. They didn't put the doorways next to each other and so on, opposite each other, so they didn't see inside. So it sounds nearly. And then it says, from the way he gave the book, you know what his caller was. They wanted to get rid of Klal Yisrael. So how do you get rid of Klal Yisrael? He said a caller, the Lashon Bracha. He didn't say the Bracha. He didn't say a caller, the Lashon Bracha. The Balak was too stupid to understand that. So therefore, he thinks he's doing a Bracha. But said he knew what he was doing. And Rashi brings down that the caller of Achi Ashilani, that he made like a reed, that now it should be there, that was a bracha. But what's a bracha? Then you're going to get beaten up. The winds are going to keep hitting you, but as soon as the wind stops, you're back again. But in others, you have no roots. It comes a wind and knocks you out, you're out. It's finished. So your never is not a good thing. You should be a reed better. And the thing though, he called them an errors. I want you destroyed. I want you to let you completely destroyed. So he says, how did it come on table level? What was the klola in it? On table level? He said the klola was that with the bracha, yet they had to give it to a bracha. You think that errors is a bracha. Look how beautiful the tree is. But it tells you now it doesn't have any roots. So the same thing here. He says, what do you need yeshivas for? What do you need shul for? You have just beautiful homes. You can teach all the meters you want in the house. You don't need yeshivas. And that's what they did. That was the destruction of yeshivas. You don't need it. And how many people actually thought that way? Yeah. Okay, anyway, I just explain Baal Pur for 1 minute. Baal Pur is a crazy religion that you go, if you want to serve it, you go to the bathroom in front of Baal Pur. That's probably pretty disgusting if you ask us, right? So if it's disgusting, first of all, it had to do with sex, it would have to do with anything else. So I think what it means, and there's another thing, there's a Yalkut that says that Moshe Rabbeinu is buried opposite Baal Pur, and every so often Baal Pur rises, and when Baal Pur rises from the kever, at that time Moshe Rabbeinu rises from his kever, and he scares Baal Pur back into the ground. What are you talking about? Person, I made a soul. It's not a person. It's not a thing. I have no wife. There's no nothing. So let's not cope with these things. He says it's an idea. The avodah b'al was, if it's natural, it's good. That's what it means. So sex is natural, it's good. You know what I mean? Drink of water, then the communism, this was the thing, the communism, the sex is like the drink of water. There's no such thing. They didn't have anything of tznius by them. And the one son says, I never knew I fixed the seam of my stockings when I had to go get a drink of water. You know what I'm saying? So obviously there's some difference between the two. I don't exactly know what it is, but there's some difference between the two. But the idea is, if it's natural, it's good. So therefore, that's mutter. So therefore, you got to go to the bathroom. What are you embarrassed for? And the Rosh Yeshivas used to tell me that the Frankisten, so the guys that shift the shops at 3 there, so they went to the bathroom in public and ate in private. And the cheshbon was this way: eating in private is ingesting gashmis. Ingesting gashmis, that's besoyin. You should eat gashmis. You're supposed to be a holy person. You're supposed to be varachmis. So what are you doing? When you're getting rid of the gashmis, it's going out. Oh, now you're becoming a kodesh. So therefore, you're not embarrassed because of it and stuff like that. Now, was in Emerson, Adam Arishan Chavod says they were not naked, and they didn't know about it. They've been brought down. Whatever it is, the Rashi didn't even be down to what did the Nafesh saw them they were happening, and the thing there, and therefore became jealous and whatever it is. Come on, that's not sneeistic. What's not sneeistic about? If you're eating, is there anything wrong with eating? No. If I'm doing what I'm supposed to do with my ego, right? I'm reproducing. I'm supposed to have a child, right? What's wrong with it? All of us, I don't think we Shem Shemayim. Oh, now we're embarrassed about it. And then if I eat like a slob, now I'm embarrassed. I'm eating, you're right. Eating is not a design, but eating like a slob is a design. If I'm doing it because Shem Shemayim, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. I made the ego like that for that reason. But you're doing it not for the Shem Shemayim, you're doing it for taifa, you're doing it for that. Oh, no. Now it's embarrassing. So, okay, therefore you hide it. That was the way he learned also the beginning of you ate the chet with the Eitzadas, and he says, Orum Anoichi, so Rashi says, Orum and mitzvahs. Well, you had done that, you were naked, but I was naked for mitzvahs. So what do you mean naked for mitzvahs? It says, matach of food, which is a small type, especially a new food, which is, you don't really have a yitzhara for it until you eat it. If I never tasted watermelon, I wouldn't be the one to have a piece of watermelon, right? Because I wouldn't know what it tastes like. It's only after you tasted it. So therefore, you don't have a taste for it. Here you have a taiva simply because it's a taiva. So I surely wouldn't be able to hold out. That was his thing. So therefore, I have to hide that part by my food. Whatever it is. So therefore, if I gave into that, this I should have given. So therefore, it's a taiva that we're embarrassed about. That we have a taiva. If you check your mind, there would be nothing to be embarrassed about. What are you embarrassed about? And we have a good Shabbos, and next week is Yetzer Hashem. We'll let you know. Thank you.